With the NFL season only a few weeks away, I wanted to do a more updated predictions video. My last predictions video was early in the offseason, right after the draft. A lot of things have happened since, so I want to take that all into account while I'm making this prediction video. I will be picking every single game this NFL season. However, I will be going division by division. So in this video, I will be going over the AFC North. We will be going in alphabetical order, starting with the Baltimore Ravens. First week matchup, great, exciting matchup, rematch of the playoffs. I have it ending the same way. Next is the Browns. Easily should win this. Against the Lions, that's a tough game on Monday Night Football. Going to lean Ravens here. I think the Lions are going to be a little bit worse this year. I'm going to give the Ravens the edge there. Against the Chiefs don't feel as strong this year. Gonna also give a slight edge to the Ravens here. I know Arrowhead's a tough environment, but the Chiefs aren't going to win every game. Against the Texans, I also have them winning this one. Against the Rams, I have them winning as well. And against the Bears. And then against the Dolphins. However, I think the Vikings are being a little bit slept on. They got what basically amounts to a rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. But I think O'Connell can make any quarterback look good. And I think the Vikings get the upset here. But they come right back and beat the Browns. They also beat the Jets. They also beat the Bengals. And then they also beat the Steelers. But then they lose to the Bengals this time. I think the Bengals are going to at least be competitive this year for a playoff spot. I don't think they get to as bad of a start as they did last year. Defense is still going to be bad though. But AFC North games are notoriously tough. The Ravens are going to win every game. But they come back, beat the Patriots. Packers get this one. And then they end the season with a loss to the Steelers. But that still leaves them 12-5. That's still a very good regular season record. This offense does look really good with the Lamar and Derrick Henry two-headed monster in the backfield. Receivers aren't nothing to write home about, but they aren't awful either. Mark Andrews, notorious drop, but he's still a good tight end. You have Isaiah Likely too. Good offensive line, good defense. I think they're still set to have a good year, barring any injury. 12-5. Should be relatively expected at this point. Up next is the Cincinnati Bengals. This offense is going to score 30 points a game, but their defense is also going to give up 30 points a game. We'll see if it's enough, but I at least have them having a good season this year. Starting off against the Browns, think they should take this. They also take it against the Jaguars. And they also beat the Vikings. 3-0 for like the first time in years. I also wouldn't be surprised to see them 0-3. They get off to horrible starts, but I at least have them going off to a strong start. It's not necessarily easy at the start, but it isn't that difficult. But then they lose to the Broncos. That Broncos defense, I think, is good enough to hold them. And that Broncos offense can definitely score on this defense. Have them losing against the Lions and then the Packers. Defensive problems are definitely going to show up in these games. But then, against two not-so-strong offenses, they win this. They also beat Ben Johnson and the Bears. A good offense, but I think this offense will be just a little bit better. AFC North games are notoriously tough. They will lose at least one game to the Steelers. But beat the Patriots, lose to the Ravens. Against the Bills, I think the Bills' offense is going to rip this defense apart. But they beat the Ravens. Then they get upset by the Dolphins. Random late season loss. It's going to happen to some good teams. Not really a good explanation. Bengals are definitely a better team, but just because. But then they win these last two games, which should be good enough for a playoff spot. 10-7, minimum a wild card. They don't really get past the Ravens, but mostly because this defense is going to hold them back. But this offense It's going to be exciting to watch every week. Now we have the Factory of Sadness, the Cleveland Browns. This season is not going to be their season. I already have them starting off 0-2, but it gets a lot worse. Loss against the Packers, loss against the Lions, loss against the Vikings. Another loss, another loss, another L. L here, L against the Ravens, L against the Raiders, L against the 49ers. But hey, they don't go win this. They at least beat the Titans. Then they lose again. And this backstretch is not easy. 1-16 might be a floor pick, but I do not have any hope in the Browns. Joe Flacco might give him a little bit of a better shot than one win, but, you know, that quarterback room is a mess. This offense does not look very good. Defense might be able to keep some games close, but this is also not a very easy schedule. I mean, Ravens, the entire NFC North, the AFC East, that's not going to be easy. I mean, maybe they can beat the Dolphins and Jets if things go well, but they feast the 49ers for some reason. That's a brutal matchup. For our last place schedule, this does not go easy on them at all. Max, they win 4 games, but I think they're competing for the #1 pick this year. And the last team in the AFC North is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know what this is going to be. They take a win over the Jets and the Seahawks and the Patriots. In Ireland, they also take the Vikings. 4-0 start before the bye. Excellent start. They even beat the Browns. Then they take their first loss against the Bengals. And then the Packers. But hey, at least they beat the Colts. Not so much to the Chargers. This is a cross-country game. Cross-country games do not favor the away team. I'm going to favor the home team in this situation. But they do beat the Bengals. I think the Bears take this one. And then the Bills. And then the Ravens. And then the Dolphins take a win. And then the Lions. But at least they win the last 2 games. Yeah, they kind of fall apart at the end of the season. That's kind of how Steelers football has somewhat gone. 9-8 record. Strong start to the season. Kind of a bit of a fall off towards the end. Yeah, quarterback situation ain't great. Arthur Smith, that offense is going to be really boring. But hey, at least the defense will keep him in a lot of games. But at a certain point, I feel like things are going to fall apart. The back half of their schedule ain't easy. It ain't that hard, and they can for sure win more than 9 games. If Aaron Rodgers does really well, they could win 11, you know? But a standard 9-8, I feel like, is pretty fair. So that leaves the division standings at the Browns being in 4th with a dreadful 1-16. Then the Steelers coming in 3rd with 9-8. The Cincinnati Bengals coming in 2nd with a solid 10-7 record. And then the Ravens win the division again with a 12-5 record. Do you think this is how the AFC North is going to go? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which should hopefully be coming out tomorrow.